Welcome to another Mr. Watson YouTube video. Please comment down below if you would like to see another topic or question explained. Please check the video description for more information. Welcome guys to another video. In this video we're looking at factorising quadratics, or factorising quadratic equations. Just before I start, you should already be able to factorise things like this. You should already know what factorising is. This video is to help you out with factorising quadratics. Okay, so a quadratic is an equation which has an x squared term in it. So this here is quite often, how people write quadratic equations with a, b and c all representing some number. They can be positive or negative. But in this video right here, we're only going to be looking at quadratics where a is equal to either 1 or negative 1, so plus or minus 1. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. First example, x squared minus 4x minus 32. Okay, so how do we factorise these things? Well, this is where you put things into two brackets. Okay, and we say, that this x squared minus 4x minus 32 is equal to these two brackets multiplied together. And what you need to do here is you need to think of a number, or two numbers, that times together to give you 32 and add together to give you 4. Now in this case it would be times together to give you minus 32 and add together to give you minus 4. So factors of 32, well, you could use 1 and 32, but there's no possible way on earth you're going to get 1 and 32 to add together to give you negative 4. So in this case, I think the factors 4 and 8 would work quite well, because 4 and 8 times together to give you 32, and you can have 8 subtract 4 and that gives you 4. Okay, so now we have to get the signs to match up correctly. For these two numbers to times together to give you minus 32, one of them is going to be negative and one is going to be positive. Now, if you make the 8 positive, so if we put a plus there and a minus there, then we won't have them adding together to give us minus 4. We will have a positive 8 subtract 4, which is positive 4, not negative. So the 8 has to be negative, the 4 is positive. Now if you're unsure, what you can do is you can then multiply this out, and for the purposes of this video I'm going to assume that you already know how to multiply out brackets like this. But if you multiply this out, you'll get an x squared term minus 8x plus 4x minus 32. And here this middle term is minus 8x plus 4x minus 4x. So we have x squared minus 4x minus 32, which is what we were after. Let's try another question. X squared plus 5x minus 6. So once again it will be two brackets. They will both have an x in front of them. The reason why they're both x is because this number here is just 1. I will do a follow-up video to this where this leading coefficient here is a number other than plus or minus 1. So factors of 6, 1 and 6, 2 and 3. So you need to think of a way now that they can add together to give you positive 5. So I think 6 and 1, well, if we have the 1 being negative, the 6 being positive, negative 1 times positive 6 will give you negative 6. Positive 5 subtract 1 is plus 5. So that works. And if you was to multiply that out, just to check, this term here is 5x, positive 5x. So x squared plus 5x minus 6. So yeah, that works, no problem. Next question, x squared plus 8x plus 12. Again, two brackets. Okay, 12. Well, factors of 12, 1 and 12. You're never going to be able to get 8 with 1 and 12. 3 and 4 is the same thing. You know, 3 add 4 isn't 8, so you can't do it. The only other factors of 12 are 6 and 2. In this case, this number here is positive, so these both have to be positive or both be negative. And if they're both negative, then there's no way you can get a positive 8. So in this case, they're both positive. Let's have a look at another couple of examples. X squared minus 6x minus 7. Okay, well, same thing. 2 brackets. Factors of 7. 7 is prime, so quite easy, just 1 and 7. The 7 is negative, so one of these has to be negative, the other one will be positive. This middle term here is negative 6, so the biggest number here will be the negative one. So that's the way that works. And we'll go through, I think we'll do 2 more examples. X squared minus 11x plus 24. So factors of 24. So one thing that you can do here to help you out is you can actually list the factor pairs. 3 goes into that 8 times, 4 and 6, and there we go. So these are the possible pairs of numbers that will be going in here. Now 1 and 24, no matter what way you add those together, you are never getting 11. 2 and 12, exact same thing, you know, you can't get 11 there. 12 minus 2 is 10, 12 plus 2 is 14. You're not 11. 3 and 8 works though. 3 plus 8 is 11, so 3 and 8 work just fine. This sign here was positive, so these two numbers are going to times together to give you positive 24. So they either both have to be positive or both be negative. And in this case they have to be negative, because if they were both positive then that there wouldn't be negative. So they have to both be negative. And I think we'll have one more question. X squared plus 6x minus 16. Okay, so factors of 16. 1 and 16 won't work because there's no way you can get 6. 4 and 4 also won't work. So in that case, it's going to have to be 8 and 2. Now what way round here do these go? One's got to be positive and one's got to be negative, because this number here is negative. So I'm going to put the bigger number as positive, the smaller number as negative, because this number here is positive. Okay, so I've demonstrated quite a lot there. Let me get another piece of paper. Yeah, so I've demonstrated quite a lot. I'm just going to use this example here to recap, because it's quite a good teaching point. So, to factorise this, if that last term there is negative, then when you put it in 2 brackets, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. So this here negative tells you that information. If it would have been positive, as in this case, then that tells you that they are either both positive or they're both negative. Okay. Now, with this example here, if that term is positive, then it tells you that it's this one here. If, however, that would have been x squared minus 8x plus 12, then this term here tells you it's that case. And here, to work out which numbers here, you know, so the factors of 6 in this case were 6 and 1. You know, how do you decide where the 6 and 1 go? Just quickly put an x into all of these. Yeah, so, you know, how do you decide where the 6 and 1 go once you've decided that they're positive and negative? Okay, well, if that there is positive, then the bigger number is positive. Okay, so larger factor is positive. Okay, if it was x squared minus 5x minus 6, so in this case this here is still negative, which tells you that with your brackets you have 1 plus and 1 minus. But here this term is now negative. Okay, and if it's negative, then the larger factor is negative. So in this case, 6, 1. Okay. So try and get yourself comfortable here with what these things mean. I recommend you watching this part again, just to, you know, make sure that you're following it. You know, I think that's a lot to take in, but that will certainly help you, you know, to think about these things a little bit more clearer. Now, at the start of this video, I mentioned that we'd look at examples where it was negative x squared plus bx plus c. But I'm not going to do that because I think this video has already went on long enough. So I'll include that in the next video. But I think this is just my sheet of questions here that I was using. In fact, actually, if I turn it over and you have the answers there, so have a go at some of those on your own, and of course, the answers are there. I think all of the examples that I used are all in the top half. These are all just 1x squared. None of these here are negative, so you can solve all of these just like I've demonstrated in this video. So yeah, that's everything for this video. Please comment down below if you have any other suggestions, and please share this video if you found it helpful. I'd like to help as many people as possible. Thank you very much.